Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Arsenal Fan Circle. Wanted to catch up with all of you this week and talk about transfer updates from Arsenal. Now, I want to quote something from a movie from, ironically, 1994, The Shawshank Redemption. And it's a little quote about hope. And it goes a little bit like this: Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. So, ironically, we all have hope going into next season, and we're all hoping that Arsenal can make the right moves in the transfer market. We're all hoping that we can generate enough money from sales, and I'm quite hopeful because based on last season, we had quite a few good success stories in the transfer market. I mean, look at Bern Leno and look at Socrates, Torreira, and Guendouzi. All of them, in their own way, contributed to the season that we had, and hopefully, lichtsteiner being the only bad signing from last season. Um, but there is hope. Lichtsteiner has announced that he's moving on, that he's going to go forward and leave Arsenal. And yeah, wanted to also say I'm going to go for about 20 minutes here, so let me set the clock for 20 minutes, and hopefully I can keep things moving for 20 minutes here. So, with Lichtsteiner moving, there's also hope that the club can move players on like Mustafi and Mkhitaryan. Now, I value those players at approximately 35 million between them. So if we move those two players on, that's 35 million that we can take and reinvest in the team. Um, Lately, there's been news about Granit Xhaka. Now, I've talked about Granit Xhaka recently and thinking that he should really stay in the team because he has that experience. But if Inter Milan have come in and want to offer the money that we have spent on Granit Xhaka and bringing him from Borussia Mönchengladbach a number of years ago, probably 3 years ago at this point, and they want to give us a little bit more, definitely we should take that. So we signed Granit Xhaka for approximately 35 million, and hopefully, if Inter Milan are going to give us between 45 and 55 million, we should gladly take that with both hands, grab it, and use it, um, and add that 50 million, let's say, approximately, to 35 million for Mustafi, Mkhitaryan, sell El Neni, and you're getting close to 100 million. With 100 million, you can do things in the transfer market. Go out and buy a Ziyech from Ajax to replace Xhaka. Um, Lucas Torreira can play defensive midfield and be playing in his rightful position. We did see a lot of good things from Lucas Torreira this season, but I believe because he's been played out of position that um, because he's been played out of position, we did not see the best of him. So that's a move that Unai Emery should make. Um, I understand also that Koscielny is being offered to clubs, and I hopefully when he gets a good deal and moves to a club and a project that he can spend his final couple of years of his career in. Koscielny has been a great servant to Arsenal over the years, and we should reward him with the transfer that he needs. Now, some players with that 85 million, some players that we can go after defensively speaking. I like the RB Leipzig player Upamecano. He is a player that reminds me, he's quite robust and quite physical and quite fast. He reminds me a lot of Colo Toure back in the day, and they are in the Champions League for sure. But and we are not in the Champions League, but Arsenal must be an attractive proposition to a young player like that. We've seen transfers in the past, like a Pogba. He came to Manchester United with no Champions League football on offer. So the club can make itself attractive to players and be convincing, as per Raul's interview. So that's Upamecano. Other players that have been touted, but I'm not that interested in, is Titi, and so those are two players that are have been touted at centre back position. Like I said, bring in a Ziyech. Let's go get a Fraser with that money from Bournemouth. Um, the output that he put in last year with Bournemouth shows that he can do something similar with us next year. Let's go get Decore from Watford. These are teams that are mid-table. Now, there's a few teams in mid-table that will be going places next season, and we'll be looking over our back a little bit with such as Leicester City and even Newcastle if they're taken over. Everton remains an enigma. They will play good games and do quite well in certain parts of the season, but then other parts of the season they will not be so good. And we all know about Wolverhampton Wanderers. They have been pretty good this season. Those are teams that we need to be wary of moving into next season. Now, looking at the overall landscape of the Premier League next season and forecasting ahead, which is what I like to do. We can always expect Manchester City to do quite well and Liverpool to do quite well. And Arsenal, need to bridge the gap to those two teams. The landscape around us, such as Chelsea, Tottenham, and Manchester United, well, let's take them one at a time. Chelsea will have a transfer embargo on them, so they're not allowed to buy in any more players. They're going to have to go with who they have, and there is uncertainty about them in terms of who will be coming to coach them, because it looks like Maurizio Sarri is going to go to Juventus. Um, will they try to go for Allegri? Who knows? But they're going to be a little bit hampered by the transfer embargo on them. Now, the other thing with Tottenham, they may be a team who are going to feel the effects of the Champions League, somewhat of a Champions League hangover. And we're looking in right now on the 13th of June where the fixtures will be released. And we will know exactly how our fixtures are going to turn out and what we have to do for next season. The other thing, Manchester United, they are in really a big disarray. Um, they really are rudderless right now. They gave Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a contract when just at about the time when they were starting to lose form and lose games, and Manchester United really messed up there, and they should have waited a bit longer. Unfortunately for them, they're kind of stuck with Solskjaer, and their team is in a bit of disarray. So we have an opportunity to fight for fourth place again next season with Tottenham. That's the way I see it. Chelsea will have difficulties. Manchester United will have difficulties. But we do need to look over our shoulders and be wary of teams like Wolverhampton Wanderers and Leicester City, especially. Newcastle, we're all watching what's going to happen with Newcastle. So let's go through our team. And the question has come up about Aubameyang and should we sell Aubameyang? I'm not going to say whether we should sell Aubameyang or not. I'm just going to give you the two scenarios. Uh, if we don't sell Aubameyang, we're going to lose out on a huge profit from him. We bought Aubameyang for 56 million, and if we do sell him now, we're going to get upwards of 80 or 80 million or more, which will be a profit of about 25 million. It's going to be very, very tempting for the club because he's coming up to 2 years on his contract right now, and is the club going to stick or twist with Aubameyang? They've said players that are on a contract of 2 years will be either offered a new contract or they will be sold. The flip side of that is if you obviously sell Aubameyang, you're generating a huge amount of money, and again, you're following maybe the Liverpool model of a few years ago. So is Aubameyang going to be our Coutinho in effect, and is Aubameyang going to um, be sold and sacrificed in order to um, buy in new players? That's really, really a difficult decision for the club to make. It's not a decision that I'm making. If you want my opinion, I'm going to say we should keep Aubameyang for another season at least. Um, you sell Granit Xhaka with Inter Milan's interest, and Antonio Conte really, really likes Xhaka. And something with Xhaka is that he's a pretty slow player, and he will probably benefit from the move to Italy, Italian football being slower. Um, so let's take the 50 million from Xhaka's sale. Let's take the 35 million from Mkhitaryan and Mustafi, two players that we must move on. And then we have a few other players that can move for during the rest of the window. But we sell these players, and now we've freed up wages and we've opened up things so that we can bring in new players. And these new players, like I said, should be the likes of Ziyech, let Torreira play defensive midfield, bring in Fraser, and let's sprinkle the team with some kids like Reece Nelson on the left wing. And then you have Aubameyang and Lacazette up front. And instantly, we are a decent team then. You pair Ziyech with Torreira, and that's looking tasty for next season. We do need to go out and get a left back. I would really love to get a Ben Chilwell, but obviously that is a pipe dream. Manchester City seem to be looking at Ben Chilwell, um, and that deal will probably get done. So that's what I have to say for transfer news of the day. Also, in other news, Joe Willock and Eddie Nketiah scored for England, and Granit Xhaka lost the ball, and Cristiano Ronaldo scored a goal. So another reason for us to sign up Granit Xhaka for Inter Milan and do it now. So this has been a quick episode of Arsenal Fan Circle transfer news. I'll be doing this periodically. Come on in, ask questions, leave questions in the comments section, and I will address those questions in the next show. Until the next time, if you are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscriber button, smash the like button, and hit that bell notification so that you know when a new video is dropping. Until next time, this is Arsenal Fan out of here.